Hey, so in this video I'm pretty much gonna go over the same thing I was talking about on this previous video I just posted. Loadout wise, pretty much always empower them. Two strongs, a crit, some chest breakers if you have the money for the mega chest breaker. Like I said before, corruption really doesn't do much if your pets kill them fast. Also, I've done a lot of testing. Yeah, once you get past two chest breakers, it's whatever, but depending on how many slots you have. Also, too strong is definitely max damage. I've tested it out. So, like enchanting two strongs, even if you put like a third, it has a damage cap on it. So just take my word. I've done a lot of testing on here. It's what it is. Definitely one critical, whatever. These are my loadouts here. If you're trying to get the XP, like from the previous video, which I'll show you what to change later. Definitely damage, because max damage definitely increases. It changes your pet's damage output, your highest stat pet's damage output. Which, if you have the highest pet like I do, the Rainbow Shiny, Angelus, it's a 3.05 billion on maxed out everything, which is the highest it can be. But this is kind of a little speed run. I'll kind of go over some things I was talking about before, give you some ideas. But yeah, I'm just going to make this account go to 25,000 here. And like I said, once you get past 20,000, it goes super slow. Each raid going through with the boss gives you about 6 to 7 levels. Like I was telling you before, the raid boss gives you about 5.5 levels. This gives you about 1 to 2 levels, depending on how much cool stuff is there to break. Also, what's cool is these chests, they give you a pretty good amount of money, which I'll show you later. So a lot of my accounts, I'm just speed running through them just to go through, and it's taking like a minute an account. And every time it goes through, I'm making anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million at the end of the raid there, which is pretty crazy. So I'm making raw gems on all these alt accounts of like probably 40, 50 million an hour, which is like crazy. It's better than mining in the last level. Anyway, so these are some of the stuff, and like I said, you move to those spaces when you have those little 2 squares there, because 3 squares and all the rest of them make you sit in the middle, which is fine. And I have it on, like I told you before, pets to follow taps. So then you move into that spot like I just did to make it faster. Don't just stand there in the nothing zone there. And then here you always turn it off auto raid right there. Collect the chest. Immediately click off auto raid, because if not, it's going to send you back. Hit that switch real fast. Fly in here. Boom. And just the second it's done, auto raid it again. Boom. And then it'll do this super fast. Take you back to the front. And so this is what I was doing on this account. Most of my alt accounts, I just have them, I'm not putting the effort. They're just AFKing. But yeah, and I'll show you again the power damage like I did on the last video. And like I said, really, yeah, of course, the better the stuff. But honestly, even a basic decent stat pet, the 3rd or 4th best stat pet, even with regular huges, it still does pretty good. My alts pretty much have that, and they all made it to level 20,000 within a day just with AFKing. So it's super easy to make it to 20,000 if you just have a basic stat pet and some huges. And like I said, that leprechaun key does give you some XP, and it gives you about 400,000 each time too if you do it. I don't do it in general unless I'm doing what I'm doing right now. If I'm AFKing, I'm just letting it AFK, which of course it won't open the leprechaun chest when you're AFKing. You have to physically click it. And so this pretty much run will make it to 25,000. Because like I said, it gives you about 6 to 7. And so, yeah. I mean, once again, a couple of days left if you want to try it. You literally can get alts and get to 20,000 probably today if you did it. Just go buy a rainbow wishing dragon or a rainbow shiny lucky agony for under 1 million in the, trading plaza. And as long as you have enough huges, it'll just, it'll go through here pretty fast, which I'll show you on the alt accounts. But yeah, so this is it pretty much. And it doesn't tell you what place you're in if you're not over 100, if you're out of the 100 spot. So like, I don't know if this account will be getting a Titanic, for example, if it made it in time to reach level 25,000. And so let's see here. I'm going to show you some stuff here too. So basically when you go back out here, go to leaderboard, it's going to show like it shows like 24.9, but then later on it clicks to 25. So See how it's showing that? It's going to change it later to 25K because I have it on another account. But it still doesn't tell me like what place I have, you know. Maybe it will, but it's not doing it right now or on the other account. But like I said, now that you have fully maxed out level, you definitely want to change it where you don't want XP anymore. So you want to reset everything and make it where you don't have XP as one of your stats because there's no point, you know. But I'm going to go through again real quick with your basic settings, which is, like I said, max raid damage, max XP. If like this is how you were trying to speedrun it, you would just be speedrunning, and I'll show you the damage output again. Now, once again, as you know, the damage output's based on your stat pet. So because I have the super expensive best pet, yes, it's doing more damage. But even when I had the basic Rainbow Anguillus or even the Rainbow Shiny Wishing Dragons or things like that, or Lucky Agonies, it still kills it pretty fast. Because ultimately, it's your stat pet makes a huge difference. Also, tapping power stuff, not great. Literally, your pets are what does the damage. So, like I said before, do 2 strongs are critical. As many chest breakers. Like I said, corruption. If your pets are weaker, it helps. But when your pets are super strong, it doesn't really help because by the time it hits, it's already destroyed. And so, and once again, like I was showing you before, this one does like 2.27. The Titanics do anywhere from like 2.1 to 2.27. When it hits a crit, it's like 2.7 or whatever. Same with regular pets. It ranges from 1.05 a hit to 1.12 a hit. Once again, the rainbow, the shiny parts, it really doesn't matter. It's not too much difference, to be honest. And like I said, the boosts really don't make too much of a difference. The 1 to a 2 is nominal. It doesn't really matter. Definitely have boost, but just use the boost 1 of damage and XP. It's no different from the 2. It's at all really not worth the money. Like I said before in the video, it's like it goes from you go up, 5.5 levels to 5 3/4 levels. It's like, yeah, that's not worth a 4 billion price tag every 10 minutes. 4 million, I mean. Anyway, so I'm gonna destroy this. Show you some alts here that I have running. Oh wait, no, yeah. First, I'm gonna do this. Let's see here. So, for example, reset it. Do as many red pets. Definitely max out raid damage. Max out. I'll show you some stuff on the loot. So the loot, the basic loot, you want to have maxed out because that actually does determine how many diamonds you get at the end from my testing that I've done. So for example, always max out the damage. Always. I do like half and half on some of these, like attack speeds and stuff. No XP because you're maxed out, so you don't need it. Better loot, 100%. Because that does give you better diamonds at the end of the level there when it opens the chest. Now, once again, I've maxed these out and I've literally got nothing. I've had alt accounts running, getting basic, like nothing. So they nerfed that to the ground. So, but honestly, just for raw gems, maximize that damage, maximize that loot, and get as many pets and other stuff, and just let it auto AFK run. You'll make, I'll show you in a second, you'll make anywhere 50K to $1 million every time at the end, which is crazy, even without opening a leprechaun key. Heck, that's worth it enough. And you're getting lots of treasure hunter potions, which is one of the main things it gives you, which, if you combine those to the end, now they're a little lower, they're a few million each, but those will come in handy in the future because you get tons of treasure hunter potions. I mean, on all my alt accounts, I've gotten so many treasure hunter potions, it's crazy. But yeah, basically, I'm going to let this account run like this now that it's at 25,000 and just whatever. So watch at the end here. Look at this. Look at that. It was 230. That was my diamonds. But 930K. Almost $1 million just for the run. And I can do those. My account runs it in like 45 seconds through here. So it's like every minute I'm making 1 million gems just by letting it auto AFK run. So these are some of my alts. And basically, they all have level 20,000, and they all did that within like a day. I started doing these on the alts like a day ago or 2 days ago, and they made it to 20,000 raid level in like 2 seconds. And I've just been letting them run. I just have all them maxed out on the same thing, where it's the better loot, the better chances. I don't even care about XP on these accounts because it's gonna take. So all these just have like lucky agonies. I mean, and they all have like regular huges, a lot of them, and they're still blasting through these levels fast. I mean, like, so once again, if you want to do it, if you have alts, I mean, like I said, all these just have that. I mean, in basic huges, no Titanics on these accounts right here. And so, I mean, yeah, I'm just letting them run through. Just the amount of raw gems I'm getting for the end here and the potions. I mean, it's a pretty good amount. So that just gives you an idea if you want to do. Hope you found this helpful. Like I said right here, damage high. I don't care about XP, and I got these other one maxed out. Better loot for sure, because that's about the diamonds. So yeah, if you want, you can just do some accounts, let it run through. Just try to get as many diamonds at the end and just keep letting it run through. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. You got a couple days if you wanted to mess with it, but yeah. And then I have it auto-clicking where it does this like this, so it, in case you didn't know how that works, and it keeps it open. Anyway, all right.